Guys, welcome to Better Bachelor. My name is Joker, and I got a couple of fun stories for us to go over today. As always, I'll put this all as one video on Locals. It'll be chopped up into segments on YouTube. And if you like the long-form content, you can find it over at betterbachelor.locals.com. I took the last week off. As many of you know, my father has Parkinson's disease and Alzheimer's, and he fell and he broke his, I think they call it a femoral neck break, which is from the top of the femur. There's the neck that goes over to the ball joint that sits in the hip. He broke that, fractured it, put a crack in it. Old man was walking on that for like 2 days until my mom finally convinced him to go to the hospital, and they had to put a pin and a plate and some screws and some other stuff in there. He's recovering fine. Tough old guy, I tell you. They don't make him like they used to. I'd probably be laying in bed crying all day long. So I took a few days off to deal with that. Today's story we'll start with: college has a golden penis syndrome problem. I don't know how many of these words I can get away with on YouTube. I'm just going to talk about the article. And again, you can always find it unedited over at for supporters over at betterbachelor.locals.com. Okay, so we've talked. How many times have we talked about, look, women are graduating college and getting scholarships way more than men. It's now 60-40. 60% of college grads are women, 40% are men. And this is what they wanted. This is what the women wanted. They wanted more programs for women. They wanted women to go to college more, women to get a higher education. And congratulations, you got what you asked for. On top of that, we know from a Match.com study that 80% of men are considered below average. Now, if you know anything about mathematics, averages don't work like that. It should be 50% of men are below average, but women think on the dating profiles and in the dating world that 80% of men are below average. So what happens when you have a college that is predominantly women and or in college are predominantly women now? There are fewer men. And out of the 40% of men that are going to college, of course, 80% of those are considered not worth my time. Congratulations, you have the top 10% of men, or only 10% of men are being looked at. So this is an article from the New York Post, and it says, men with golden penis syndrome are ruining sex and dating for women. So what happens when women get their wish and they're the vast majority of college students? And on top of that, they're so selective that they only pick the top 10 or 20% of men. Well, it's men's fault, you see. It's men's problem. Why? Because the top 10 or 20% of men have all the choices and they're rolling through women. They're not dating them. They're hitting it and quitting it, and they're moving on. And women are saying, well, this is men's fault. This is men's fault. It couldn't be we women are unreasonable. We women, we got what we asked for and now we're unhappy with it. No, it's men's fault. So from the New York Post, this is just a couple days ago, men with golden penis syndrome ruining dating. Let me zip this up so you can see the print here. They say, beware of the college grad cad. Men with college degrees have become so cocky that they're ruining romance for their female counterparts, one, quote, leading expert alleges. Just 40.5% of college students in the United States are male. Let's just pause on that for a moment. You know, women pushed for a long time for, well, we want the same opportunities in college. And so I did a video last year sometime where women had something like 300 scholarships, some of which went up to $80,000. Women had 300 scholarships available to them in this one study that I read. And the same men had like 20, and the most that they would get might be 10 or 15,000. And most of that was for minority men. So we've rigged the system where women have a huge advantage. Women are taking advantage of that. And a lot of men are saying, you know what? Instead of going deeply into debt, I'm just going to go into a trade. I just read a report that some truckers right now in the United States are making $120,000 a year and are having to turn down jobs because there's just not enough. Same thing with sanitation workers in New York City. And I actually have a video about that I'm going to do later for those of you on YouTube. And I think it's in my other video for Locals as well. Anyway, So they say 40.5% of college students are male, according to the National Student Clearinghouse, meaning they're in short supply and high demand when dating on campus. Again, this is what you girls wanted. You wanted, yay girls, all the benefits for us. You got it. They say a lack of competition has led these men to develop the golden penis syndrome and arrogance that stems from the assumption that a steady supply of females will be sexually interested in them. All right, if you're a top 10 or 20% of men, maybe even top 30% with the lower numbers of men in college, guess what? Yes, you do have the choice, because if my math won't be perfect here, but if 60% of the students are female and 40% are men, and women wanted the top 25% of men in college, that leaves it from 40% of men. 25% of that is 10% of the men on college campus, and that's for the top 25%. If you take it down to the top 10%, that would be 4 out of 40%. The top 10% of that is 4% of men on a college campus. And we know that women are ignoring, the chubbier guys, the non-athletic guys, the less attractive guys, maybe guys that are a little bit socially awkward or are into, more nerdy or geeky hobbies. Like, there are some girls that like that stuff, but we know those top percentage of men are what they're looking at. So when you have, let's say there's 100,000 students, 40,000 men, 60,000 women. Out of those 40,000 men, we know they're only looking at 5 or 10,000 of those men, which means 60,000 women are chasing after 5 or 10,000 men. Of course, these men literally have 6 women per guy to cycle through. And these women will go from hot guy to hot guy to hot guy to hot guy, or top 10% or whatever, just passing themselves around to these top guys. These guys don't even have to try anymore. So of course they're going to get a golden penis syndrome. They say it's led to these smug males. Do you see how they paint this against men already? They don't say these over choosy women. They don't say these women with unrealistic standards. No, they say these smug males. This has led these smug males to engage in a dastardly dating practices, such as cheating and ghosting, because they're confident that another woman will always be waiting around the corner. Guess what? There will be. For these top guys, there definitely will be other women waiting around the corner. And so they get to, but we've talked about this for years. This is nothing new. They've just decided to point their finger and blame it on men. They say the term was purportedly coined by the frustrated female students at Sarah Lawrence College in upstate New York, where 3/4 of all enrollees are the fairer sex.
Oh, wait, you serious?
Yeah, they're the fairer sex, all right. So 75% of college enrollees are women at this college. There's already a 3-to-1 ratio women to men. Do you think they're looking at all men when they're dating? No, we know they're not. We know they're not. They're looking at, again, the top 10, 20% of guys at this college, which means that out of that 25% of men they're looking at, they'll maybe take 5, 10, 15% of those guys. That literally means that there's probably closing in on 10 women per every dude. Journalist John Berger believes many college-educated men in their 20s, 30s, and 40s have also developed GPS because they're similarly in high demand when it comes to dating. Oh, where is it? Where is it?
I am shocked. Shocked. Well, not that shocked.
Oh, of course. Who's shocked? College-educated men, there are many, many women that will not date down. So if a woman goes to college with any degree at all, could be underwater, gender studies, basket weaving, or something weird like that. She has a degree. She will not look at the plumber that's got his own business that makes $250,000 a year because she thinks he's less educated because he doesn't have a college degree. Now, in the meantime, if you look at some of these interviews where they're talking to college students and they show a globe without any labeling on the continents and they say, find America, they can't. Jimmy Kimmel, I think, did a segment on this.
Can you name any country in Europe?
Is this one Europe?
No.
This one?
No.
Was this Africa?
No. Again, that's South America.
No idea.
Can you name a country in South America?
No, I can't.
Did you go to high school?
Yes.
Did you go to college?
Yeah, that's a sad part.
Argentina, Chile, Bolivia, Brazil, Peru, Colombia, Venezuela, Mexico, United States, Canada, Greenland, Iceland, Australia, New Zealand.
So these, quote, highly educated women, they won't look down. So guys that are in their 20s, 30s, and 40s, either that maybe have a degree or are doing very well for themselves, they know they're in high demand, and the women are not. As a matter of fact, I did a video. Coach Greg Adams and I did a video. I interviewed him for my channel because he interviewed me like a year and a half ago, and I've always wanted to talk to him a little bit more. I interviewed him. That's up on Locals. I'm going to be chopping that up and putting that here on YouTube as well, so you guys can enjoy that. It'll be edited here because I like to use salty language, and the coach is still he uses salty language, but he's so used to YouTube like I am that he kept it kind of clean. But I'll put the edited version over here for YouTube for you guys and break it up into a couple segments. But we talked about that, where women, once they get into their 30s and 40s, men have all the choices. We have all the choices because women are showing up saying, I can't cook, I can't clean, my degree isn't in anything big, so I'm not making a ton of money. I have a lot of debt, and I don't want to look at a man that I don't feel is on my level. They say sex ratios among college-educated hetero singles in Manhattan is approximately 3 women for every 2 men. I've interviewed a lot of men who are continuing to take advantage of that imbalance. And 1981 was the last time that 4-year colleges in the U.S. graduated more men than women. Ever since, women have been leaving men in the educational dust. So since 1981, women have outgraduated men in college. But what do we hear constantly? We need more women in STEM. Women are not being allowed into STEM. No, they're just not choosing the sciences, technologies, and mathematics. And I'm not sure what the E is for. Engineering, I think, and mathematics. Women just don't want to do that. You can't force them to go to school for something they don't want. So, of course, men are going to predominantly take that over. But since 81, okay, which is now 40 years, women have dominated the market. Are we talking about how we need to get more men in college? No, not really. All the programs are for women. So, of course, it's going to make men more scarce. Men are going to become a kind of a second-class citizen. Men will become the blue-collar. Women will become the white-collar educated, quote educated, not, you know, I know plenty of men that do not have degrees that are very, very intelligent. But the difference is when society has problems, when they need to lay people off, it's not going to be the garbage men, the plumbers, the electricians, the oil derrick drillers, the engineers. It's going to be people that have some of these crazy wackadoo degrees that aren't going to do any good. So it'll be the women that are out of the jobs primarily. Berger, who penned the best-selling book Datonomics, How Dating Became a Lopsided Numbers Game, further explained to the Daily Mail, we're seeing a generation of young men who think they're Adam Driver or Michael B. Jordan. Of course, it's not about them. It's the ratio. But again, let me pause you here. Are we talking about all men? Of course we're not. Of course we're not. We guys know it's not all men. It's the top select men they're looking at, and the bottom percentage of men are completely invisible. They're not even on women's radar. So women don't even think that they're dateable. So what that means is that if out of 100% of men, if women are only looking at the top 10, 20, 30% of men, the other 70% are invisible. And so women are complaining right now that the top 10 or 20% of men have all the choices, and it's unfair to us women, not realizing they're forgetting the other 70% of men that are like, hello, good human, good being, good person here, good human being here. What about me? And they're like, who are you? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't even see you there. You're invisible to me. So it's not, I don't think I'm Adam Driver or Michael B. Jordan, but I guarantee you these top 10, 20, 30% of guys do, because they're getting all the action. He continued, when men are in undersupply, the dating culture becomes less monogamous. Men are more likely to treat women as sex objects than treat relationships as disposable. And I've talked about this before. Again, it's not that all men are undersupply. It's just women have been programmed and taught that you deserve the best men and don't settle for less and you deserve the king. And if he's not perfect, then forget it. Well, those women, again, they're basically since they're in such heavy supply, these guys are like, why would I be monogamous? Why would I settle down? Why would I get married? I have all these other women that want me. I do not have to settle. I get sex without commitment. So of course I'm not going to commit. And again, for those nice, good, quote, good guys out there that would be like, I'd love to have a girlfriend and I'd treat a girl great. You're not on the radar. Sorry, man. Like, you do not exist in these women's eyes. They say not only are men with a golden penis syndrome more likely to treat their dates badly, they may also be less inclined to put effort into their physical appearance and their sexual performances. Berger previously spoke with a post declaring that dating was particularly dire for heterosexual women in New York. Why in New York? They say college-educated women are more likely to date among their own milieu of college-educated men, but as their numbers are so skewed, they're in for a rougher time. Berger told the Post that the imbalance is also exacerbated by New York's large population of gay men. Some 9 to 12% of men in Manhattan are gay, according to Gary Gates, a demographic expert at UCLA's Williams Institute. But Berger has some trusty advice for female singletons seeking to settle down. Be cautious of the college grad cads. Now, let me pause here for a second. Look, we want this stunning and brave. We want the gentlemen be in touch with your feminine side, be in touch with your emotions, and women don't like that. They don't. And when we're pushing, and not that we're pushing, let me reword that. When we're saying to everybody, hey, be out, be proud, be gay, be your true authentic self, and 9 to 12% of men said, you got it, and they decide to date other men. Well, now you've taken 50% of the population and shaved it down to 38% if it's 12% of men. Now it's only 38% of men that are available to date that are straight. Now take those 38% and only take the top 10, 20%ers out there. Women are literally their own worst enemies when it comes to dating because they don't open their eyes to all the other guys that are out there. They're just selecting those top guys. And who do they blame it on? Men. All these top men now, they think they're too good for us. Well, they are, because you all are chasing the same men. Now, I guarantee you, if these women just took a pause for a moment and said, hey, you know something? This guy's a hard worker. Maybe he's not the biggest earner in the world, but he works hard. And you know what? He loves me. And he cares for me, and he shows attention to me, and he shows affection, and he's honest, and he wouldn't cheat on me, and he's right there for me. Boring. I want Captain Bad Boy. I don't want this guy that's so available to me. He must not have any better options. I'm going to chase the other guy. And they end up chasing those other guys that everybody else is chasing. You guys are sharing the winners. That's what's happening. Anyway, he says, I would be wary of guys who have remained never married into their late 30s and 40s, he explained to Daily Mail, especially the better-looking ones with good jobs. I have so many buttons on my board here, it takes me a cycle to... Wait a minute. Of course, that's what I literally just said that. The good-looking ones with good jobs, because they say these men are having too much fun playing the field. Yes, because all the women are chasing after just those few men. He also advises women to be assertive when pursuing romance, stating fact is, men like women who like them. Also, a man is much less likely to take advantage of a woman who puts herself out there. Yes, so ladies, chase really hard after those top 20% of men. And guess what? He'll sleep with you. But he's not going to commit to you. He's not going to stay with you. He basically should have said, ladies, chase the guys without the degrees that are good earners, that maybe have a blue-collar job, but work really hard and are smart and are entertaining and funny. And maybe they're not the hottest guy, but find one that you find, relatively attractive. I can tell you, if I showed you pictures of some of my exes, you'd be like, yeah, she's all right. It's because I didn't solely go on looks. You look for personality and intelligence and even if they have a nice body. Some people joke around about a girl called a butterface, which is maybe she's got a slamming body, but her face is kind of average or maybe a little less than perfect, right? But those guys are like, hey, you know what? Everybody sees her as an average girl. I know all the dudes aren't going to be macking on her, but when I get her home and she comes into the bedroom, man, she's looking fine without the clothes. Like, men are willing to make different sacrifices when it comes to dating. There's lots of guys that date pretty girls that maybe she's not the brightest, she's not the sharpest knife in the drawer, or she's not the brightest bulb, I guess you could say, in the pack. But they'll still say, but you know what? She brings other qualities. Women do not do that today. They want the best of the best of the best. We've been saying it, and here's an article that basically proves it. So, take it from me, guys. Again, many of you out there say, dude, dating is either great because I'm a top 10 or 20%er, and I don't have to get married, and I get laid all the time, and I have fun, and dating is awesome. And for you, I say, congratulations, reap the rewards. For the other men that don't fall into that pack that do want to date, I say, hit the gym. Hit the gym. Get some muscles. A lot of women really appreciate a good body. They will also look past a little bit of a less attractive face. If you're throwing some guns and you got a wide back and a narrow waist, that will, because there's a lot of women that are like, nah, he may not be marriage material or dating material, but I definitely sleep with him because he's got a rocking body. Become that guy, right? If you want to dressing a little bit nicer, if you want to do that, there are opportunities for you. But for the rest of the guys out there that say, you know what, this isn't that important to me. I would like to date if it came my way, but so far it hasn't. But I'm not going to alter my life to make this a thing for me. You don't have to. But also understand that, even if you do, it's not unrealistic that a lot of these women are just too picky for you.